Hello, this video will present a demonstration of the instructor feedback and guidance you will receive in our technical report writing course and also illustrate the overall structure of the course. So the very first thing that happens in the course is we ask you to submit your specific goals and tell us about the types of technical writing and reports that you write. And this is essential because even though it is a standard course and everyone is moving through the same materials, it is a practicum, so it is individualized to the type of report that you have to write. So telling us that helps the instructor shape her feedback most specifically for you. And then the course teaches you that optimal process to be efficient and skillful. And then the very first thing we ask you to do is to analyze your audience for the report that you're going to be writing. And in this case, this person has submitted everything has been redacted, of course, in what I'm showing you. Submitted his specific course goals, which he did a very nice job on. He was very specific about it. And then we asked him, okay, let's talk about your reader. So why exactly are you writing this? And he did a nice job explaining it, that essentially this report, it is quite technical. He needs to write a section of a subcommittee report that summarizes the statistics of wind farm technical results that are going to be submitted to a committee. So that is the purpose and audience of his report. And so we get very pragmatic. And in order to write a good report that conveys technical information, you have to really know what your reader needs, how much they understand about the technology of this, etc. So this exercise really refines this, and the instructor checks to make sure that you understand it and addresses any corrections that you need. So in this case, this was quite a good audience analysis for the first one, and you notice that the instructor has told him to go on ahead. He's doing well. If this had been weaker, she would have possibly just clarified it, the understanding, or maybe even asked the person to do it again, because we want to make sure that these core requisite skills for technical report writing are firmly in place, and we'll help you until that happens. So in this case, she just highlighted some nuanced aspects of better understanding the audience needs, but he was ready to move ahead. So then the course then presents lessons on various tools that we can use for technical report writing, a number of illustrated and annotated reports, how to sequence it, how to craft a really strong executive summary, how to extract the implications of technical information. And now it is time to do it, to actually plan a real technical report that you have to write at work. And we ask you to submit either a map or an outline of the plan of your report. And here's why. If you can't map it or outline it, if you can't map it, that report is never going to become more clear when it becomes 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 pages long, because what is essential is that the substantive information of the report is solid before you move to the writing of it. So the thinking and the wrestling with the information is as important as the words and sentences you use. And so at this juncture, we are verifying that you're comfortable organizing the substance of complicated information. So he submitted this map, and I'm going to keep it small deliberately in the interest of privacy, although it is fully redacted. But you can see that he has defined the audience, which we have done very carefully before, and the content that he plans to include in this report really matches the audience quite well. And he's identified that tight implication level information at the executive summary. He's categorized it really nicely, and he has also sequenced it, all of which he learned to do in the course. And his instructor is commenting on this really well, and really affirming in this particular case primarily, but there were some nuanced things he needed to just tighten up. And she also linked it to his original statement for the purpose of this, because that was the opportunity to realize there's a little bit of content that was still needed in here. And she addressed that, and then also tied it into his overall course goals, so that what he's learned in this particular report will echo to everything else that he writes at work. And she has some really nice comments on this. And so he was ready to move forward. Now, again, if there had been some problems here, she would have either redirected it or maybe even asked for him to resubmit this again, because this is a key piece of technical report writing. You have to get the substantive information solid before you move on to writing it out and polishing it. After receiving the feedback on the planning of your report, the course shifts gears, and there are a number of lessons purely on syntax. So an entire lesson on clarity, how to cut bloat, another lesson on using terms, clear terms. Technical writing is already complex. We want to use language that makes it easier to understand, not harder. And then, of course, throughout these narrative exercises that people submit, the instructor is combing for any grammar or punctuation patterns as well and correcting those. So there are lessons to ensure that the report is clear and correct and professional, and that tonally it expresses a feeling of, you can trust me, I know what I'm talking about, which is very, very important in technical writing. And here's the feedback from the instructor. So she actually also included a video summary because there were some illustrations that would have been more clarifying than even the written text. So she included that as well. And she, once again, tied it to the overall goals. And here's the feedback on the specific document itself, again, very redacted. And she kept tying it to the purpose and his goals. And you can see, essentially, he did quite a nice job. Little bit more work was needed on the extraction and the tightness of the executive summary implications, and she's provided some information on that. Also, specifically given him a grammar and punctuation diagnosis and some good tools to use to improve that as well. He would have also received a specific guide on how to improve his grammar as well. And I won't go too deep into the report in the interest of privacy, but throughout the report itself, there would also be, and you can see this is a highly technical report, rather about 31 pages, so average length really. And there are annotated comments through this as well. So you can see that the feedback from the instructor is deeply linked to the structure of the course, and we are verifying that you can really define the audience and purpose of the report. That's huge and important. That's the foundation. And that you can show that you can plan a report comfortably. And then we give you lots of feedback on that final report. And then the very last thing that happens in the course is that we would schedule a live coaching session so that you and your instructor can review the document live and answer any lingering questions. I hope that clarifies the structure and feedback in the course. And please let us know if you have any questions.